Good morning, everyone. I am Dylan, and in this video, I will be explaining to you about looping. In Java or in just general programming, looping is a sequence of instructions that is continually repeated until a certain condition is reached. So, by reading the definition, you might be confused, but I'll try to make it simple. So, looping is basically when you want to um, execute a sequence of instructions. So you have a block of code, and then you try to uh, execute that code repeatedly until a particular condition is fulfilled. Uh, so loop consists of two main components. First is the condition, and second is the set of instruction, the body. Uh, what instruction you would like to execute uh, as long as the looping is still iterating, as long as it does not reach the condition to stop. So in Java, there are three different types of looping. So first is the for loop, second is the while loop, and the third is do while loop. So let me just show you quick example of what for loop. So in this code, I have a variable called n with its value 5. So you can just think of it as a uh, the initial value because we try to loop 5 times. So that's why we declare the variable here. And this is the basic syntax of for loop. First, you need to declare the a variable that serves as the index as a pointer. So and then the condition here. So we want to keep iterating as long as I is less than n, and n here is 5. And then we want to increment I so that it goes for 5 times, because if we do not increment this, I will remain 0, and this loop uh, will run infinitely. We don't have this increment if we don't have I incremented here. So if I try this and then inside this looping, I'm printing the value of I. So if I try to run this program, it will gives me this result 0 to 4 because we initialize the value of I as 0. So it runs 5 times 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is for loop, and now it's the while loop. So in terms of syntax, it's quite different because in while loop you need to declare the index outside of the brackets here. So if I run, it will produce the same. Oh, there's a mistake. I forgot. So as you can see, if I did not add the condition to increment the I, it will infinitely run, and it will only stop once you stop when you kill the terminal. That's why you need to have the condition to increment the I. So if I run this again, it will gives me the same output. All right. So now is the do while loop. So don't forget to increment I. You don't want same error happens again. So it gives you the same output. So now you might be wondering what's the difference between while loop and do while loop. So for while loop, you want to check the condition first before executing a set of instructions within. But for do while loop, you want to make sure that at least the code inside is run one time, at least one time. Then you check the this condition here. once it reaches to the condition, it will stop the code. And then you might also be wondering why we have different loops. So each of them have different purposes. For example, in for loop, we just try to comment this out. Oh, in for loop, you typically want to use for loop when you know how many iterations you want to do. For example, if you want to do 10 iterations, or if you have a set of if you have an array of integers or an array of characters, you want to iterate through all of the elements inside the array, typically you would use for loop. However, for while loop, um, it's mostly used when you don't really know how many iterations you want to do. So in some situation, they would have a, oh, it should be true. Okay, so you would have this. So as long as it's true, and like there would be a condition here. For example, if let's say I is less than, if I is greater than 10, then I want to break. And then I plus equal to 2. So it will gives you this. Oh, no, actually, I forgot to comment that out. I also want to print the result. Okay, one second. Okay, so print the value of I. And then if I run this, you can see the result here. So as long as um so when you reach to this condition, it will break, right? So in most cases people would use while loop when you have no clear idea when how many iterations you want to do. So that's the only difference. And for do while, you want it's just the basic idea is the same as while loop, but you just want to make sure that your code is executed at least one time before reaching the stop condition. So I hope you would get a clear idea of what looping is. So that's all. Thank you.